What it is, what is up, what is good, gamers? This is Shonuff71, aka Digadulamite.
That purple bling bling, y'all. Last instance of that in 2024, y'all.
Yes, and your auditory canals are tuned into episode 268 of the Gaming Vessels Podcast. Of course, I'm not in the digital studio alone. Along with me, I got my partners in crime. As usual, first on deck is Dez, aka the Bay Area Terror, aka the High Res Hater.
That's me.
aka the Cat Daddy, aka that gamer stepdaddy. What's going on, man?
Hey, not much. All right, Joe. Might be time to retire that purple bling bling. It's been on for quite a while, my friend.
Oh,
I know.
Hey, if you want, it might be the
staple.
last one for 2024, and guess what? It might be the last one ever. How about that?
Oh no. Well, you never know. Might be able to come back in a future episode installment, but you never know. So,
Got it.
but I'm doing pretty good. Happy to be here talking about games. Really excited about this episode because we're going to be talking about our games of the year and talking about your games of the year as well in the Vessel line. So please stay tuned for that, as it's pretty cool. I'm really enjoying to hear. I'm really can't wait to hear what people have said and to talk about it. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting.
All right. And of course, our show is a no-go without Trader Joe, aka Jabroni Chief.
That is me. Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. What's up, dude?
Not much. Just kind of been busy this week, so I haven't had much time for gaming, but just getting around, doing some holiday stuff. Coworker retired after I think 36 years or something like that. So
Wow.
we went over and partook in X Lanes and went to go watch him bowl and just kind of just celebrate him. So
Did you bowl?
Kind of nah. I think I mentioned last week that I was having some physical issues. I tore my meniscus on my right knee. So basically, I'm not wanting to do anything. I'm driving with my legs at all. So I didn't want to even think about bowling. So part of my business this week is I was like, I got a steroid shot and I'm waiting to see if it's gonna be good or whether I'm gonna have to just have arthroscopic surgery and have the meniscus removed. So we'll see. So
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot. I hope it goes well.
we'll see. Maybe I'll be like the $6 million man over here. I'll be like taking my
We
dog
have
out
the
for a walk and that
technology.
kind of thing. Yes.
We can rebuild him.
Or at least
one thing I did
knee.
this yeah. One thing I did do this week is I've been kind of talked into and I've been thinking about it for a while. But my friend Nick, I think we mentioned him last episode because we were talking about the Kev's Bottasera business on there. But he's kind of talking me into putting together a rig before the the possible tariffs kick in. Beginning in 2025. So I bought a GPU, and so I'm just looking for other parts right now. That GPU is not going to be here for 2 to 3 weeks. So I wound up buying an Intel Arc, and I bought the more beefier one on there. And I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Intel's been releasing GPUs, and so basically this is their second iteration of this particular GPU, and it's quote unquote a budget killer, quote unquote. So
What is a
So
budget killer?
where would it fall in, say, Nvidia's lineup?
it's more beefier than a 4060 on there. So it outperforms the 4060. It has 12 gigs of RAM versus 8 gigs of RAM. I think a lot of people are saying that NVIDIA kind of gimped the 4060 because basically they all have 8 gigs of RAM, and basically it's just not enough on there. But it's basically made to run 1080p and 1440p content pretty good on there. So it's a lot more bang for the buck.
So like a
Cool.
4070
Yeah,
or a 4080.
like a 4070. Yeah, but the thing about it is that the card only retails for between 250 and 270. So if you looked at GPU prices for a 4070, it's quite a bit more, So what I'm looking at is just sticking with that card for now, see how it works out for me. But I'm gonna kind of spend a little bit more on my CPU and then look at my other components as well on there to kind of piece together the configuration that I want, at least for now. And if I want to wait until either Intel comes out with a better graphics card or if either AMD or NVIDIA come up with like more of a, last thing I want to do is to spend $800 on a graphics card on a PC that I'm going to be playing games that would normally just run on a Steam Deck, or a little bit beefier than that. I want to get to a sweet spot. So this has kind of been brought on because the PC I've been using, I bought like back in 2018, I bought it on a Walmart clearance deal. And so I'm like running an i5 Intel CPU, and then my GPU is a GeForce 1070. And so it's like, I would have probably have kept pushing on with that rig, but it's one of these rigs where it's not going to support Windows 11. Windows 10 is getting basically stuck out to the farm by Microsoft. They're not going to be updating any more security updates for Windows 10 beyond like September of 2025. And so it's like I had to make a decision whether I'm just going to like stick with that desktop or go to maybe a Linux OS or something like that. But I think it's about time. I think in 2018 has been quite a bit of time, So
yeah, time to upgrade.
Time to upgrade, indeed. So we'll take a look and see how it kind of works for me. But yeah, I'll be talking about it in the next few episodes, and hopefully I'll get her done before the tariffs kick in. So
good luck.
Is Nick building it for you, or are you going to build it yourself?
I'm going to work with him on it. So, I want to not just rely on him to piece it together, but I know he's worked on numerous rigs for other of our mutual friends and that kind of thing. So, but, I just don't want to say, hey, do this. I want to be an active participant in it. But, he's been sending me like PC part picker, like, list of other components to grab and stuff like that.
He loves to do it.
I know he loves to do it. Yeah. He was telling me that he was intending on buying the Intel Arc GPU for his wife, actually, because he's putting together a nice mid-range desktop for his wife as well. So for Kim. So
that's great.
We'll have to see, because, I don't want to be the one where I'm going to say I'm going to spend $3,000 on a desktop, computer on there. I'd rather just, see if it works out for me and kind of go from there, and I could see the synergy, especially once I start gaming on Steam more and on PC more, that, I could use the Steam Deck to play on the go and keep my save files and so on and so forth. So we'll see how that goes. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're spending $3-4 grand on a PC, then that's just where you're going to be doing most of your gaming. That's the only way that makes sense to me. You'll be doing all your AAA stuff and everything else on there for the most part. So, it's there for you.
Yeah, my ballpark's like 800 to 1,000. That's what I'm looking at right now. So, this GPU is only costing me $269 plus tax. So I figure I'd get a good quality bang for the buck CPU. Get some affordable, other parts, case, SSD or M2, and basically go at it. It's not like I don't have keyboards and monitors and things to hook it up to. I got plenty of that stuff. So it's the point of piecing it together and kind of going from there. So,
well, I hope you have fun with it, because me, I'm a console peasant for life. PC gaming has not been kind to me, but
I like playing and tweaking. Like that Trails in the Sky that I was playing on Steam this past year. I patched it. I put a new voice track. I put a Japanese voice track on there. I followed the steps to patch it. okay, and I don't mind tweaking if need be. I don't mind messing with drivers, and I know especially with this Intel GPU, I might be running into a driver issue or two possibly because they haven't had as much time to kind of get their graphics drivers as played out as both NVIDIA and AMD. So we'll see. But the reviews I've taken a look at from all the major outlets are just going gaga over this card because it's a lot of bang for the buck for $250. So.
All right, that sounds good. I hope you have a lot of fun with it. All right, so that's gonna bring us to our first topic on the docket, and that's going to be, as always, the playlist. So this week I'm going to go first. I ain't playing shit because I have been working on my little business. It's Christmas time. My little business has been doing. It hasn't been doing too bad because I'm only doing this part time and I don't have the hours in which to really truly invest the way I would want to. But I've made a couple of high dollar sales, and I want to pat myself on the back. So that's where the majority of my free time has been. That and getting some other items to sell. The only things that I actually played was I turned on the mini just before bed like 2 days ago and played Ultimate Double Dragon, which is the 16-bit Super Nintendo remix, which is probably one of the best beat 'em ups I've ever played, paid or not. I would highly recommend people get the Ultimate. It's a free download. It is created by one of the lead coder or one of the lead coders for the Super Nintendo version, and it is literally one of the best beat 'em ups I've ever played. So in depth, so many layers of combat to it. You have, if you're playing couch co-op, you can do super moves in tandem with each other. It's not one of those, hit a button and it automatically does it. You actually have to time stuff and actively be an active participant in the double teaming. And it's also got a cross mix with Killer Instinct. If you do Jago's Ultimate, you'll hear the Killer Instinct guy, killer combo. It is one of the sickest things you ever want to play, and it's also a what you would call an homage to beat 'em up history. Like one of the moves that Billy can do or Jimmy can do is he can do Guy's 5-hit combo from Final Fight. He can do Ip Man's multiple hit punch where he punches some guy like literally down to the ground. It is just so much fun, and it's free. So I messed around with that a little bit. I played a little Helldivers 2, messed with the new content, jumped in with the homie Damon for a little bit, and that's really it. I don't really consider that much because I didn't play that long because I've been doing other stuff. So with that said, I'm going to pass the mic to Dez. What you been up to, bro?
Well, kind of like you, the only game that I've been playing has been Darktide, and I have really been enjoying the game. I know I spoke about this at length on other episodes, but it's just a really fun game, and I've just been really craving a lot of multiplayer games as of late, and that has been the game that has just been the one that I have wanted to turn on and just play, has been that one. So that is honestly really the only thing that I have been really sitting down to play, and that's mostly just because life has just been a little bit more demanding as far as work, and I don't know if you know this, but I also run a couple of D&D games with some friends of mine. I run a D&D game, one game every week with different play groups, plus on Fridays I have a game where I actually am a player. So I actually play D&D quite a bit nowadays, which is kind of crazy. I never really thought that I'd be playing D&D as much as I do, but it's been a lot of fun, and it gets me out of the house and gets me meeting new people and stuff like that. So that has been gearing up, but because of the holidays, a lot of people aren't going to be around. And so this coming week, I'm hoping to play a lot more games, just to kind of, um, just to kind of take care of my backlog a little, because I bought a couple of games. I didn't tell Joe yet, because I know he's probably going to be all like, what, you bought this, and just always questioning, how much I pay for my games. So, but yeah,
Yep.
I went ahead.
Are you still rocking Marvel Rivals at all?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going back to it, but
I
I'm
wouldn't mind
kind of
going
curious
back
what
to
you
it.
bought there, sir.
Mark, you're kind of curious about what I bought. Well, hold on, my friend. Let me tell you. Let me tell you what I bought, and you can tell me what your thoughts are. I bought Unicorn Overlord for
Oh, okay.
PS5. These are all for PS5. I got it on a deal, and because you were talking so highly of Visions of Mana, I actually went out and bought it. So I will be trying that game here soon, hopefully. And then the last game that I bought was Dragon Quest III. And I was thinking about buying it for Switch, but I just couldn't bring myself to buy it for Switch. This game and Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake, I'm going to buy for the PS5 because I really just wanted to play them. So yeah, I went ahead and it's weird. I was buying Christmas gifts for people, and I figured, what the hell? I'm gonna buy some Christmas gifts for myself. So I bought those. So hopefully, Joe, you didn't buy me you didn't buy me any one of those games for Christmas. So
No, I didn't buy you any games for Christmas. You always say that you'll never buy me games for Christmas, so I'm never gonna buy you games for Christmas.
well, the only reason why I don't buy you games for Christmas, my friend, is because you just buy everything that you want. And you have so many games that it would be like literally throwing wood on the fire. So that's why I always buy him something other than a game. I don't buy him anything video game related for his birthday, for Christmas, for any occasion. I do not buy him anything video game related. So that's just something that I just do not do for Joe. And say what you want, but I'd rather get him something else than something that he's probably already going to get himself. So,
Yeah, thanks for the underwear and the socks, dude. Appreciate it.
You know what? As a single man in his murmur, you could always do with some crew socks and some underwear. So,
Well, I'm plenty stocked over here. I like to have fresh chones, so
I just want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself.
of course, yes.
So that if you meet that nice lady, you ain't got mushrooms. So that's what I'm trying to help.
Man.
I appreciate you, bro.
I got you, bro.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Thank you, bro.
I appreciate you, bro. All right. But no, that's all I've been playing is Darktide, and this week I plan to crack the seals on those 3 games to check them out and see how they're going. I really want to expand my horizon as to these game series, and that's why particularly I bought the Dragon Quest, because I played the Dragon Quest games on the DS, but I never played them on console so much, and I wanted to get back into those. Same thing with the Tales games and the Trails of games, because those are and with ease. So I'm thinking about picking up those games for there's like a bunch of games coming out next 2025 in those new sort of series that I really wanted to try, because I really want to get back into RPGs. JRPGs specifically in 2025. So, wish me luck. But that's all I've been playing. Joe, turn it around for us. I know you've been playing a ton of games, my friend. Which games have you been playing?
I've not been playing much, so I've been like kind of was driving around all throughout the Fresno area looking for gifts for my friend Amy's birthday was on Wednesday, and so drove to the GameStop in Madera, and I also drove down to the couple of GameStops kind of down in the hood in Fresno, the one on Cesar Chavez and the one down on First and Shields. But every time I went to go pick up said items for my friend Amy, I was like, let me peruse the racks. So I perused the racks and of course bought myself some games. One of the stops actually was to pick up a used copy of Hogwarts Legacy. So I'm not like a big Harry Potter fan, but the game got kind of down to like the $20 to $23 range. And so I figured it's probably a really good game for that particular price point. So
I would say it is.
Yeah, and then also too, I saw at another GameStop location. I picked up Made in Abyss, which is based on the anime and manga on here. I didn't want to really buy this game. It's like a roguelike, a dungeon crawler on here, but I don't think I was super familiar with the IP. But I saw it on the racks for like $20, so I said, hey, why not? And then picked up a used copy of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for whatever reason. I own it digitally already, but they had a physical copy for $5, so I said $5. Why not? Because I picked up Jedi Survivor like last week for PS5 for like $20. So, and then also too, they have some of the GameStops. They had some PS2 games, and so I was like, oh my god, look at this! It's like they're all minty and basically clean as you know what. So I picked up Lord of the Rings: The Third Age for PS2. So that was the kind of EA JRPG kind of RPG version of the Lord of the Rings saga, and so I said, it was like $10, $10. So one thing I could say about GameStop, especially if they take in retro stuff, is that they're not like putting it up to like big eBay prices. It's not like rolling over the blue shell or something and seeing like basically might as well just pull up your browser and put a bid on the game on eBay versus paying a local retailer the price that you would pay on eBay for something. So I picked up that, and I picked up like a kind of hidden gem for PS2 called SWAT, Global Strike Team, an old basically first person shooter for the PS2, kind of like those old school, just like Turok, good old Turok. But as far as games I've been playing, I played a little Darktide with Dez this past week. I also played some Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown 2.0. So it seems like this game still has my interest. It was like a game. I was up Friday night and it's like figured, let's see what's going on online and that kind of thing. So I did play some rounds for a while on there. I was playing mainly competitive, and I also got in some rooms and was just like taking turns playing rounds with random folks online on there. So kind of enjoyed that. Also bought and played a little bit of Magical Drop 6. So I didn't even know there were 6 games in the Magical Drop series, but
of course there are.
Yeah, they keep cranking them out, but this particular title was super cheap on PSN. It was like $2.99 on there, and as soon as I started playing against the computer and realized, oh man, I'm really not good at Magical Drop, but I'll have to get better at it. Kind of go from there, But for $2.99, just having a Magical Drop game in your back catalog, I think, is well worth it. I'm not sure if it's as good as maybe Bust a Move / Puzzle Bobble or like Super Puzzle Fighter or anything like that. And I probably have both of those games in my catalog somewhere. I think there was a Capcom collection with Super Puzzle Fighter on it that I could probably pull back and play that instead. So, but enjoyed what I played of a Magical Drop 6, so maybe, especially if other people pick it up or see if there's any way to play it online, maybe that's something I could look at as well. Get my ass kicked online at the Magical Drop 6. So, got to get the juice as far as being able to play online because I'm going to get pwned. So
I think you'll do fine.
But
I
But
believe in
other
you.
than that, thank you. Thank you for your moral support. Appreciate it. So,
You're welcome, buddy.
but other than that, that's pretty much been my gaming week this past week. So,
Cool.
Okay. So that is going to bring us to our next topic on the docket. We've got best aligned responses for you. All right, Des, you got the mic, my friend.
Alrighty. So this is a good one. So y'all, if you're listening to us, while you're working or driving, stop what you're doing and pay attention to us. If you're on the
Stop,
bathroom, just pinch
collaborate, and listen.
Yes. So we're going to talk about games of the year. So the question was, what are your top 3 games of the year? It could be released in 2024 or in 1984 or any time in between. What 3 games were on your favorites in 2024? Again, we love because gaming, people come across games at different times in their life. You could find a game that came out in 2005 that just really just knocked your socks off, and that was your game of the year. Let us know. Or if it could have been a game that came out this year and knocked your socks off, let us know. There is no expiration on this. So please let us know. We're going to be talking about ours, and we're also going to be talking about some of our listeners who responded to this question. If you missed it or you want to participate, this question will be going on for a couple of more episodes, so please come to our Discord. If you're listening on YouTube, put it in the description, or sorry, put it in the comments, and we will read them on our next episode too. So please let us know. We love talking about these games because sometimes there could be games that we missed ourselves that we didn't think about, or it could be a game that we didn't think was as good as it could have been, and maybe we'll pick something else and we can share your enthusiasm. So, first on the docket is Will D, who says, super easy for me. Number 1, and it's a tie between BG3 and Elden Ring. Easily 2 of the best games that I have ever played. Elden Ring took me 3 tries to get into it. On try 3, I used an early build guide, which helped me learn the systems. Elden Ring is put together like a fine wine or great bourbon. There are layers after layers of complexity that slowly reveal themselves. BG3 is an absolute masterpiece. And distant number 3, or third pick, is Star Wars Outlaws. This game is actually a lot more fun than I thought it would be based on reviews. See, I'm glad to hear that because sometimes reviews don't really capture the essence or the actual gameplay. And it just goes to show that reviews are just opinions like everyone else's. So if a game looks good to you and you're willing to spend the money, go out and get it. And also, I hope you got that at a discount because knowing a lot of these EA games, they're definitely going to be a lot cheaper. So, hey. And he says, always in the lineup is Digital Combat Simulator, DCS, and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020/2024. Yes, you are a resident PC gamer who loves the simulators, and I'm glad that those games are still like floating your boat, my friend. But yeah, that's Will D. Thank you, Will D. And I'm going to kick it over to Kev. Kevin, what are your top 3 games of the year?
So number 3 is going to be Dragon's Dogma 2.
Okay.
It probably would have ranked a little bit higher if it wasn't for some of the issues that game had at launch. But Dragon's Dogma 2 was just like the combat in that game. I'm not so much in love with the loot system because I think the loot system is great for that particular type of action RPG, I think, but I would have liked a little bit more customizability in in my armor sets. It pretty much is you find stuff out there. You can't really combine it with a whole lot of stuff. You're buying full armor sets really for the most part, because matching them with other things just really doesn't go well, because you have several classes, and certain classes can only wear armor sets for that class unless you get I call him the Jedi, because that's basically what he is. The Jedi can wear all the armor sets for all the classes. That's really where you can get your mixing and matching in. But man, I Dragon's Dogma is just it is watered down Monster Hunter, because you can jump on the backs of big old ogres and cyclopses and griffins and just stab them in the neck and bring them down, and it's great. It's great. So that's my number 3. I'm going to say that my number 2, which was only a hair's breadth away from number 1, that's going to be Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I think that game probably has the best combat in just about any game, any RPG that I've played, second only to the Final Fantasy games, the remakes.
Uh-huh.
I love the combat in this game. The story is whatever. There's a lot of characters, but they come into the game as basically just people riding the bus. That's what I call it, because you get these tokens from a merchant, and they say, hey, because you completed such and such side quest here's your token, and you get all these different Grand Blue characters. They're not introduced as there's no story introduction to them whatsoever. They're just, hey, I'm riding the bus. So they get on your ship. Your ship is the bus, and then you can use them. There's no rhyme or reason for why they're there, other than, hey, you got the token. I have the token. Let me get on the bus with you. But the combat in this game is freaking phenomenal. It is the graphics are top notch. The frame rate is top notch. I was playing it on performance mode, and I didn't see a flicker or a slowdown anywhere in any of my interactions with the game. So beautifully well put together. Again, the story is kind of whatever, and is it going to be like a Final Fantasy level narrative? No, not nowhere near. But just on sheer playability, Grand Blue is without a doubt my number 2, and my number 1 it's got to be Helldivers 2. It's just,
yeah, I can see that.
Helldivers 2 has just grabbed my attention. Honestly, when I was earlier in the year, I was thinking that EDF 6 would be my number 1, because of, like, I would just mainline EDF 6 for days, when I had game time. But when Helldivers 2 came out, I still went back to EDF, and every now and then, but when I want that quick adrenaline rush and I don't have a whole lot of time, I just grab Helldivers and play and play one round or 2 missions, try to wrap up a section on a planet, and then I'm done. Just a great game. I love the combat, love the fact that it's in third person. I love the stratagem usage. It's just a really fun game. I don't like playing with randos because I haven't had much success in finding reasonable people to play with. I don't care if people are good or not, because I'm not really all that good at the game. But there are just some. Every time I do randos, It's always bunch of random idiots acting stupid and saying stupid stuff. So uh, I typically only play with people I know. So I play with the homie Damon, and we jump in there in private sessions, and we just run around shooting bugs for the most part. So that's my three. I will give an honorable mention, and I'll give that to Stella Blade. Stella Blade probably would have been in my top three somewhere, but I just didn't play enough of it during the course of the year to really give it a fair evaluation. Um, Especially now that the PS5 Pro patch has come out. I'm hearing really good things about that. So that's going to be one of the games of my backlog that I want to get back into. I'll probably just restart that game over since it's been so long since I started it, and I wasn't all that far into it to begin with when I stopped playing. So I will give Stella Blade the honorable mention. So that's going to be my year-end roundup.
Cool. Thanks, Kev.
Mhm.
So, following in with our listeners, Goonie says, for me, it was going to be Astrobot after platinuming the game, but Balastro,
Electro.
yes, let me finish. Balatro just edged it out. Balatro is easy to pick up if you know the basics of poker, but has incredible depth as you refine your deck to stack multiplier to multiplier to get exceptionally bigger, higher scores. It's a ton of fun, and like Vampire Survivors, it gives you that dopamine hit without any predatory monetization. Absolutely love the game. Another gem from the indie scene. Astrobot is not really my number two, but 1A. The effort put into making each level fun on a mechanical, visual, and auditory level is clearly on display. The game is an absolute delight, and Team Asobi deserves all the platitudes and awards they've gotten. Number three might be a little strange because it only just launched in early access, but as I've played more of Path of Exile 2, began to understand the mechanics of the system, the more I've enjoyed the game. I thought I had completely burnt out on ARPGs, but the addition of a dodge roll and bosses with a greater depth of mechanics has brought me back in. I'm still not sure if I'm going to stick around for the end game grind, but I'm looking forward to the full launch of the game where I plan to run through the story with a couple of different classes. Honorable mention, Animal Well. I got a couple of hours in, but took a break and came back completely lost. The little I played of it, I had fun, and I'll eventually go back and do a fresh start. So yeah, I mean, Astrobot, I've heard it was a great game. It did win Game of the Year at the Keeley Fest, so good for them. I really want to pick up Balatro. I need to. Um, I've been wanting to pick it up for the Switch. It's been super cheap. So if you're on the fence about it, I do think that you should pick it up. I probably will just bite the bullet and get it. Again, it's always on sale. It's an indie game. It was nominated for Game of the Year as well. So maybe I'll pick it up and try it.
I
Not
want
so
to
sure about
pick it up
Astro.
on mobile, maybe.
Yeah, I guess I could pick it up on mobile as well, but I'm not really sure if I want to do that or not. Who knows? But Astrobot, yeah, I probably need to pick that up. Although I never played the first one, but I don't think it's a sequel, or maybe it's just a sequel only in name. So and it's you could just play it like normal, but we'll see. But for me, my game of the year, my first one would have to be Sea of Stars. That game was just great. And no, I still have not beaten it. I'm at the final boss. I know I need to go back and beat it and beat the game, but it's like again, I know when I beat it, it'll be over, and I'm sad. But I do know that there is a DLC coming out that will prolong the experience. Maybe when that comes out, I'll go back and I'll beat the game. I don't know, but if you haven't played it, it's fantastic. I double dipped on it. I have it for PlayStation 5 and I have it for the Switch. And I got the Super the Greatest version for the Switch. So just a fantastic game. And I lauded its praises all during the summer during our summer game backlog fest that we lost. Yes, Kev, I still know we owe you food, and we will make good of it. But yeah, definitely a great game. Game two would be Diablo 4. I really enjoyed that. I'm a fan of ARPGs, and uh, it was just good. It was the sequel that Diablo 3 needed to have, and by needed to have, it needed to be that. It needed to look like that. It needed to play like that. It needed to just be much more, it needed to go back to the visuals and the feeling of like that core Diablo. And I think Blizzard did that with 4. It was like a return to form, and I think that's why people really resonated with it. I thought all the classes played extremely well. I really enjoyed the story, and even though I did not play the grind at the end with the Hell Tides and all other stuff, that's just not me. But I really enjoyed it, and I probably will end up playing the expansion when it gets down to a cheaper price. Um, but all in all, that game was a lot of fun to play, and it was so much fun to play with other people, with Christian and Joe. It was just so much fun playing that game, and yeah, I really hope that PoE gives me that same kind of rush. And even though folks are waiting to play for it because it'll be free in 6 months, I'm really chomping at the bit to play it, and I really am like, maybe I'll just spend my money and play it, because I haven't played a good ARPG in a long time, and it looks good. I like that it's challenging, because I always find that ARPGs that I've played in the past seem to be, because they want you to get to the end. That way you can start grinding it out at the end, and so the actual content isn't really that hard. So I'm happy that this is going to be showing a challenge. So yeah, stay tuned, because I might actually purchase it, and I can tell you how I like it. Um, but yeah, that's kind of where I am. And for my number three, I have two. It was Helldivers 2 and Darktide. I think both of those games are phenomenal multiplayer games that offer two distinct different play styles. One is a third person, sort of like, squad based. You're running around with your weapons, and you're killing bugs and aliens and undead and Terminator type things. And it's much more like a grand scale, where you can run around, and there's a lot of freedom of movement, and it's like the friendly fire, so you can have a lot of really fun interactions with that game. Whereas Dark Tide, it's much more compressed and compact, and it's a first person game, and like there's narrow corridors, and the monsters are coming at you from all over, and how you attack and how you use your stuff, it's like everything is at a premium, and it just the games really showcase two different play styles that are just fantastic at doing what they do. Both of those games are fantastic in doing what they do, and I think they're just both really great multiplayer games that you can play with your friends and just have like a ball both times. Sometimes I do wish that Dark Tide did have a friendly fire mode, but then I think if it did, it would be just a little too hard because of how much of the waves come at you and whatnot. But and because you're in such tight corridors, I think it would just be a little too hard. But those are my games of the year. I do hope and I do want to play more RPGs in 2025. I really want to play more games because the amount of games that I buy does not correlate to the amount of games I actually play, and I want to change that for 2025. I want to carve out time for myself to sit down and play games. So that is my sort of like, if I know we're not doing New Year's resolutions, but if I had one, it would definitely be that because there's just so many great games coming out in 2025, and I just need to make sure that I have time for them. So, and our last comment from one of our listeners comes from John BT, who says, "I took a look at my most played games and it aligned pretty well with my thoughts. My top played game of 2024 was BG3, same as 2023. Then it was Diablo for Season of Hatred, which has been fantastic, but I need to finish it when I get my disk drive in my PS5 Pro. Finally, I'll say Ender Lilies. It's a good game, which is a brutally hard Metroidvania. The boss fights in this game pushed me to the limits for sure. Yes, Ender Lilies was great. The new one is coming out in 2025, so please take a look at that. I've played Ender Lilies too, and yes, that game is nuts. So a lot of Metroidvanias are coming out for next year, and we'll definitely be talking about that as well. So Joe, my friend, close us out. What are your top 3 games and your honorable mentions for 2024?
Okay, well, I'm going to start with my honorable mentions first
Sure.
on here. So, starting from January when we did our month of Xbox. So, I don't know if you have any games from that particular month, Des.
It would
as
just
far
be
as,
Grim Dawn.
yeah, I'm going to mention Grim Dawn.
Like that Robo game where you're running around as the
RoboQuest.
yeah, RoboQuest. Just maybe those 2 games would be the ones that I'd be like, yeah, those games really like made me stand up and listen. Oh, and then maybe would be that one game. Oh my God, the first person oh God, the first person magic game. I can't remember the name of it, but that would have been the other one because it really showed that my potato was a potato playing that game. So
Oh, you talk about the EA game? I'm trying to think of the
yeah,
name of it.
but anyway, what are you saying? What are your honorable mentions?
Okay. Yeah, Grim Dawn was definitely one on there. Helldivers 2. I played a lot of Helldivers 2 when it first came out. And then after me and Des went to Japan, I stopped playing altogether, and I have not gone back to it. This recent update is kind of getting me back into it. I want to make sure to go and play. I know Ace Black sent a message on our PSN group saying that he's going to be playing tonight, so I'm going to see if I could maybe get on and resume my playthrough of Helldivers 2. But I remember for that month in March, February and March before we went to Japan, I was playing it quite a bit on there. Also another game that I probably was on my top 3 last year. I'd have to go back and take a look. It actually was, according to my PSN wrap up, was the game I played the most this year. So, but it's still just in my honorable mentions because I probably mentioned it last year, and that's going to be Tiny Tina's Wonderlands on there. So it's a great game.
Yeah, you played that a lot.
I was playing a grip. I wanted to actually beat the campaign, but I did not. So I'm thinking about going back to it, but at the same time, I got a lot of other games I want to play too. So my number 3 for 2024 is going to be Earth Defense Force World Brothers on there. So I've severely enjoyed playing it. It got me back into the minutia of EDF. I should have been playing EDF 6, but I'm so grateful I've actually dived into World Brothers is because of the fact that it was just so fun to play. I like being able to switch between, the particular character classes right in the mission on there. I wish EDF proper, like the mainline series, would give you an option possibly to switch. Maybe you could play, because technically you are playing a particular troop on the board, and so it'd be kind of cool if you could switch back and forth depending on if the mission requires a more like wing diver and or air raider slash or whatever other character classes in need be to be able to switch back and forth with. And plus, the old timey Nintendo era punch out racial fun and shenanigans with EDF World Brothers is just so fun on there. And I think every world territory on the map, every country gets their own appropriations and or character classifications.
The second one is on sale on PSN. Are you going to pick it up?
I was debating between that or picking up the physical, but if I pick up the physical, it's only on Asian territories, and it's been between $60 to $70, so I might just decide to pick it up digitally. So we'll see.
Well, if you pick it up digitally, I might have to pick it up with you.
Yep. I don't know if you guys want to, also play first one, because first one's still on PlayStation Plus Extra. So
I have the first one downloaded. So
yeah, I was playing some multiplayer because there are some trophies with at least playing so many hours and or matches online. So I've been playing it, but every time I try to go play it online, it's a ghost town. So maybe the gaming vessels can own the EDF World Brothers, will corner the market on there as far as gameplay is concerned. So my number 2, it's the game I was concentrating on for my summer backlog, and it was Secret of Mana. So the old SNES, basically action RPG from Square Enix, came out for SNES back in the day. This is the PS4 re-release that came out for both PlayStation and also on the Wii, and not on the Wii, on the Switch on there. So also this version eventually made it to Xbox after the Game Pass payola check got sent over to Square Enix from Uncle Phil and the group.
Yep.
So, but really enjoyed playing Secret of Mana. I mean, pretty much, back in the day, I just couldn't wrap my head around the fact that I was switching back and forth between different characters on the map and trying to master and min-max the magic from the 2 girls in the group on there, both the sprite and also the lady, and I renamed all the characters, so basically I can't really quantify what the actual name of the characters are on there, but it's been a blast. I've been meaning to go back to it in the last 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks, to actually just finish the campaign proper. I'm on the last cusp, just like Dez is with Sea of Stars. So maybe we could end both of those games before the end of the year. That way we could cap it off at least. So, but on my PSN recap, it was very much like the summer months was spent playing Secret of Mana. I really wanted to beat the game to at least get one game on my docket, but Kev, your game beating prowess is well deserved, at least during the summer of backlog that we ran. So whatever beautiful meal you want to grab at Texas Roadhouse, Sizzler, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You said Sizzlers. Wow.
Nope, we're going to have to pay up pretty good. Mm-hmm. So who knows? We went to the Brazilian steakhouse. Actually, the Casa de Brazil was decent. So be definitely down to go again if that's what you want to peruse or eat. So
I'm good for that. I'm good with that. That works.
And my number 1 for the year pretty much was a game that Desmond and me were playing a lot multiplayer, and kind of him and Christian kind of were inching me to get over the edge, was Diablo 4. So finally beat the campaign. We're all ready for Vessel of Hatred, and guess what? Because I wanted to beat the game before resuming and playing Vessel of Hatred, and we haven't played or bought Vessel of Hatred, so I'm still thinking about it. But with all this PoE business, PoE 2 business, on there. I almost would think, okay, what would be better, $30 buy Vessel of Hatred or Path of Exile 2 open early access? I'm thinking I could always go back to Diablo at whatever point, because I'd be going back for the story beads on there. I know John BT is, going back to it as well. He's waiting for his disk drive, which was placed in mail yesterday. So I actually wound up with an extra disk drive for him. So sent that out. So on there, but otherwise, just like Dez, I have, looking at what I played this year, it seems like I haven't really played much. I looked at my Switch roll-up for the year, and man, oh man, crickets galore on there. I played Dragon Quest 1 for 6 hours, and that's the entirety of my usage of the Switch for 2024 on there. I looked at what I played on Steam, and basically it was Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, because whenever I went over to Dez's house, I was loading that up on my Steam Deck, but when I got home, you think I fired it up and replayed it? Nope. So so I'm definitely looking to diversify my gaming a little bit more, and I'm going to play more games and purchase less, so we'll see if that kind of comes into the equation. The less time me browsing a Wario 64 deal or going to a GameStop and more time in front of my console, So, I think all the back and forth between online dating I've been doing this year too has been taking away my time as well.
So. That's okay though.
Oh, I know, but I love companionship, but don't take my games away from me. So maybe I'll have to look at different things to kind of minimize my time. Maybe take away any sort of garbage time looking at my phone or something like that, and just dedicate it to playing more games. So
there you go.
But that is my gaming for 2024, and we'll talk about our next main event question. Maybe we'll talk about what we're going to be playing in 2025. So Des, take it away.
Yeah. So and with that, we're going to leave you with a question for episode 269, which is our next episode. And that question is, what are your 3 most anticipated new games for 2025? The games in question can be published in 2025 or released in 1985, meaning that if you're looking to go back into your backlog and play a game that you're looking forward to playing in 2025, let us know. So it could be something that's coming or something that you want to go back and play finally. So again, give us your top 3 anticipated games coming in 2025, and we will talk about them. We will definitely have our list as well. So again, if you have games that you loved in 2025 and you want 2024 and you want to talk about them, feel free to let us know in our Discord or post them in the comments. We will talk about them on our show, and stay tuned at the end, and Kevin will let you know how you can join our Discord. But you know what follows me? It's the Jabroni Gaming News.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
That's the last Jabroni Gaming News for 2024. Oh, boy. Unless we're going to record next week, but
I don't know.
We don't know. We'll see. We might have an extra extra for you next episode. But first thing I want to talk about, Microsoft is working on more things. So they are developing a quote-unquote cross-platform user interface. So they're basically inspired by Battle.net because they purchased Activision Blizzard. And they are looking to see if they could get some sort of front end ready to go. So sources tell Windows Central that Microsoft is also working on a set of in-game APIs and user interface features called Project Rainway, which is some sort of cross-platform Xbox guide menu. Xbox has been inspired by the in-game Battle.net social features seen in Hearthstone, Diablo 4, and World of Warcraft, which lets you share and communicate cross-platform. This means for games running on other platforms from Xbox, they will still have an Xbox flavor, that green flavor, and in-game Xbox systems, even cloud saves. As last week's Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella reiterated that the company's gaming strategy going forward is centered on allowing players to quote-unquote enjoy Xbox on all devices. So this is an Xbox, and this is an Xbox A, and this is an Xbox. So
Ooh, PlayStation is an Xbox.
You know it. So I know you want to sell your potato. So these devices that Xbox, including in their advertising, include both mobile phones, laptops, Amazon Fire TV sticks, and the ROG Ally handheld on here. And also on Windows Central, Jez Corden commented the fact that about Microsoft's first-party strategy. He was kind of mulling on Twitter/X, and he basically said Xbox won't have exclusives going forward. Everything is time exclusive at most. If some games are exclusive, they're going to be incidental at best. By a case-by-case argument, is by and large going to be multi-plat timed, and then maybe a few outliers. So, responding to a user who said that they didn't believe Microsoft's upcoming Fable game would come to PlayStation, Corden wrote, "That game was super expensive. It might not be day one, but it'll come with the current plan in place, in my opinion." So,
yep.
So, pretty much it's a done deal that Microsoft in of itself by itself, Xbox is not going to be on Xbox anymore. It's going to be on every platform they could publish their games on. So, as we talked about, so hopefully the front end is good. Hopefully they do what they need to do. To me, I know both you, Kev, and I know soon to be for you, Des, that you're kind of abandoning Xbox hardware in itself by itself. But there's some games that Microsoft are working on that I think we're all looking forward to. We just want to see the receipts in the end, so. And I have no problem playing some of their published stuff on other platforms if need be. But, we'll see. For me, having a Series X right now, it's just kind of like I've said before. The only thing I collect for Series X is dust on my console. So I'm going to fire it up and maybe download Indiana Jones and get a few other games on the service and see if I could maybe dedicate at least time for one of them to kind of say, hey, I'm kind of grabbing what Xbox has to offer on that. So, Kev, what's your overall take on all this? Or is this the same broken record we've been reiterating on previous episodes?
Yeah, I mean, the whole slate's coming.
Yeah.
So Satya is just confirming the slate. It's just a matter of when. That's all. So, like when you were talking about expected Microsoft games, I'm looking forward to South of Midnight. But if it's not day and date on PlayStation, I can wait.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe would I want to stream the game? I don't want to stream the game because I'm not going to call it a data cap. I have data limitations. I have never received a hey, you have exceeded the amount of data for for your plan, because my wife works from home, so she's streaming a lot of Zoom meetings. I'm just not interested in really streaming games when on my TV. So I'll just wait. I thought about now if South of Midnight turns out to be a banger hit, then maybe because I do have a somewhere around here. I've got a mini PC. I can stream it through that. So I'll just probably throw it on there and play it. But if it's just this, oh man, I can't wait to play type of game. From what I've seen, the gameplay looks very good. I don't know if I would call it a must play at this point, but the gameplay does look very good to me, and I am very much intrigued by the story. But to be honest, since we don't even know when Fable's coming out, I could not justify keeping that Series X in my own head, um, and wanting to, not needing to, but wanting to drive the price down on that PS5 Pro a little bit. It just, to me, made sense to drop it, because I have a feeling that as time goes on, the value of the Series X is going to start plummeting, because Microsoft is basically just taking away the system's value, just as a means to play games, in my opinion. So
Great.
Yep. We'll have to see what Xbox is going to come forth. I know there's a rumor right now that there is another developer direct that's going to happen in January. So we'll see what they come up with. I mean, I want to be excited for Xbox. I mean, we have, both me and Des have Game Pass until, I think beginning of 2026. So I know once it comes up for renewal, I don't think I'm going to make the investment to subscribe to the service, because I haven't really utilized it too much, I have to say it. So, I played a lot of Xbox last January, but that's about it. So I'll have to take it.
I will
from
not be
there.
playing it.
No.
I will be by playing it I mean my potato. Next time I see you, Joe, we're gonna have to get this potato ready to be shipped out. So if anyone wants to buy my potato, let me know.
Xbox Series S, if you don't
Yeah,
know what the potato is. So
yeah, it's just time to go. It's once they confirmed, which I knew was going to happen anyway. Once they confirmed that, it was just only a matter of time. So I have no need to keep it. I don't want to keep it. I'm fine with timed exclusives. It's not like the Switch and or PlayStation won't have stuff coming out to bide to quench my thirst until the stuff that's coming out on that the Xbox produced stuff is coming out. So I mean, Kev said it right. Like there is no value in keeping these boxes anymore now that they said that there's no exclusivity. So it's like, so yeah, yeah, it's time to go finally, and it is sad, as it feels like it's the end of an era. As a longtime Xbox console owner, but this is where Xbox is going, and that is fine. Because I already paid for everything for my Xbox Live account. I, I'm just gonna have to, that's fine. The money has already been spent. It's already gone. It's totally okay. And I am fine with saying goodbye. It is sad, but it is time to say goodbye. I'll pour one out for the homies, but that's it.
it's so hard to
Exactly.
say goodbye
That's why I'm just like
to
pouring out.
Xbox.
maybe that'll be a nice little, like, I don't know if you want to trade it in to get credit at GameStop, even though I know you deplore shopping at GameStop, but
Oh no, I'll trade it in to GameStop and just get something and buy like
that's Switch 2 monies right there. So
yeah, so it'll work. It'll work. I'll do what I need to do.
Okay, well, speaking of Switch 2, a new report has come out which basically stated that the Nintendo Switch 2 will come with a more powerful dock and also magnetic Joy-Cons that will eliminate stick drift on here. So, recent weeks have seen several accessory manufacturers circulate what is mock-ups of the final hardware for Nintendo's next console. Nintendo has not officially revealed anything yet. They have not revealed shit, quote unquote, on there. So, but they have confirmed that it's going to do so before the end of its current fiscal year, which ends in March 2025. So, a Reddit user actually have been posting saying that a final retail unit of the machine has been seen, And basically that the next Nintendo console will be named Nintendo Switch 2. Surprise, surprise. And will feature a more powerful dock as well as magnetic Joy-Cons. It's also claimed that these Joy-Cons will eliminate stick drift. And they're going to include magnetic Hall effect joysticks, as you well know from tons of other controllers out in the market. This prevents any sort of deterioration of the Joy-Cons as far as the analog sticks, and prevents stick drift on there. Basically, they have specs on the dock. The dock includes 2 USB-A ports, 1 HDMI, 1 Ethernet, and 1 USB-C. On here, the USB-C is going to be used for power on there. They also claim that the dock is rated for 60 watts, while the Switch 2 is rated for 45 watts, saying it's way more powerful than the Switch 1, for sure. Some other rumors talked about that there's going to be 3 models at launch. There's going to be a gray, white, and a Mario Kart 9 model. And they are all going to reveal that Mario Kart 9 is a launch title for the system. Pretty much it's going to feature an LCD screen and larger buttons. And the game carts are going to be same as Switch 1 on here. So you're looking at probably the same form factor as maybe a Steam Deck, which is pretty large on there. So we'll have to see what the bigger shape of the Switch 2. And I don't know if it'd be more portable. I would doubt its portability because of the fact of it being bigger, but appreciate it's going to be beefier. So, and I know we've talked about Switch 2 to no end on this pod, but it's a point that what's your hype level? Are you looking forward to it, Des?
Yes. Nonstop. Let's go.
Yep.
I mean, it's a day one for me.
Yeah.
No brainer.
I want
to high res lava all the way.
Yeah. I want an opportunity to get back into Switch because it seems like as of late, like I've talked in my year-end wrap-up, that I have not given the Switch enough love. I've given enough love buying games for it. I'm not giving enough love to actually play said games. So I want to circle back to Nintendo and circle back to see what's on there. I want to go back and play like Kev wanting to play Bayonetta 2 and 3. I want to go back and play like the Xenoblade games specifically. I want to get back into that series and kind of dive deep into that. So I'm looking forward to playing it in Super the Greatest mode on the Switch 2. So Kev, any more thoughts? I mean, are you going to buy the system day one, or are you going to kind of wait to see if there's games that you want to play?
If it can play Bayonetta 3 at a decent frame rate, I'll buy it.
Okay.
If it cannot, I will sell my Switch collection, because at that point I'll have no use for Nintendo.
All right, Nintendo, you better be listening. That Bayonetta 3 FPS is.
Yeah. I buy games for the Nintendo. I like it. I don't think the last time I turned my Switch on was when I was just disgusted with Bayonetta's frame rate, and I just never went back. I purchased some games for the system since then. Like I've got Super Mario RPG, and I've got a bunch of others, but I know that those games don't have an issue. But the games that I had the most fun with, like the Hyrule Warriors games, Bayonetta, just run like crap on that thing. And it's like I said, man, I don't even need a graphical increase. I don't care about none of that. I just want a decent frame rate for those games. And I think that's bare as minimum. That is like rock bottom as far as expectations that I need for this console to deserve a purchase from me. And if they can't get it, if they can't give that to me at least, then I have no need for these games, and I'll just sell them. I'll sell the Switch, and I'll sell all the games, and I'll just be a PlayStation peasant for the rest of my time. So PlayStation and retro.
There you go.
All right, Nintendo, you hear it. You hear it from Kev. Come with the goodness. So I know Doug Bowser's listening to every word we say on this pod. So
Doug Bowser don't give a damn about what I just said. He's like,
I know.
you gonna get what we give you and like it.
It
but
is not kick rocks.
not kick rocks. It's like, cause trust and believe, Nintendo don't need my money.
Kick mushrooms. There you go.
They can put out a brick made with shit and people will go out and buy it in droves. And I don't say that. I'm not saying that. I'm using some hyperbole there, but that's just the cachet that Nintendo has built over the years. A well-deserved cachet, I might add. But so, I mean, these are the same people that sold y'all cardboard. Okay? Cardboard.
And the Wii U.
Yeah. But the cardboard is the greater sin. At least the Wii U played games. Man, these niggas sold you cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, it makes the Alarmo like a value proposition there. So.
Hey, you gotta, on one end you gotta respect it. You gotta, it's like, and they're selling you an alarm clock for that probably cost them 30 cents to make, and people are buying that mug for like hundreds of dollars. So you gotta
flip some Alarmos for your store, man.
Believe me, I would love to. I would love to flip some Alarmos. Trust and believe, I would love to do that.
Go. Also, what's being flipped right now is Kadokawa. So Kadokawa was rumored to be taken over by Sony in its entirety on here. So Kadokawa is the parent company of a lot of manga and anime properties, as well as From Software, Acquire, and a few other game developers as well. Sony went ahead and increased its shares in Kadokawa as both companies agreed to a strategic capital and business alliance, but they did not acquire the company. So this deal does not constitute an acquisition, and Kadokawa will remain an independent entity. So based on a press release that was issued out, Sony claimed that it plans to discuss specific initiatives for collaboration, such as initiatives to adapt Kadokawa's IP into live-action films and TV dramas globally, co-produce anime, expand global distribution of Kadokawa anime through the Sony Group, including like Crunchyroll, further expand publishing of Kadokawa games, and develop human resources to promote and expand virtual production. So, as you know, Kadokawa is best known as the parent company of From Software, developers of Elden Ring. So, and they went in, they kind of saved Kadokawa from being acquired by other companies if need be. So, and we'll see what kind of favors they are going to send Sony's way. And maybe everyone out there waiting for a Bloodborne remaster / Bloodborne sequel will finally get what they want on there. But I'm surprised that they haven't come back and gone to the well a little bit. I was expecting Sony to at least go out to maybe the same group that redid the Demon Souls remaster to dip back into Bloodborne, because everywhere it's like kind of the meme right now on gamers' minds as far as any sort of Bloodborne PC port. Same thing with like, when's the new Hollow Knight coming out? Never ever, so same thing with Bloodborne. So I'm thinking this is a good move, at least for Kadokawa. At least they are not being acquired by anyone, and they could work with Sony if need be and kind of take it from there. I know that From is probably still going to partner up a lot with Bandai Namco, because that's basically the group that they've kind of gone to for quite a bit of time as far as publishing their titles if need be. So any opinion, Kev, about the Kadokawa Not acquisition, but just like the controlling shares from Sony.
I mean, if not really, because I don't think it's going to change much as far as access to content.
Yeah.
I think it's one way to ensure that content is going to maybe be available for PlayStation 5, preventing another. Because I think it was Tencent that was sniffing around Katakawa for a hostile takeover, either them or a Korean company. So they didn't want to be acquired, and they went to Sony for help. That's something else that I don't understand about big business. If you don't want to sell, I don't know how. Maybe it has something to do with international markets, how they're handled, but people can just come at you and we're just going to buy you. I don't understand how that works from an international basis, but they did what they felt they had to do to maintain Japanese sovereignty as far as a publicly traded company is concerned. And it sounds like, from what I've heard, the employees are happy about it, because a lot of them were not happy with the leadership of Katakawa at the time with regards to how they were doing their anime projects. So it sounds like it's going to be a win-win.
I know a lot of gamers out there were worried. Like I know I'm looking at WindowsCentral.com right now, and says, like, a news story said Xbox fans can relax, that Sony is not buying up one of the industry's best game studios. So it's like, okay. I don't know what they're fearing.
Because they were buying those games to begin with, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's what people are fearful of, I guess. That they're going to buy it and make all the games exclusive to one console, but not like anything else is coming out exclusive for Xbox anytime soon. So
nope.
They can blame themselves for that, for swallowing everything Phil was tossing out. The gruel that Phil Spencer was pouring out for Game Pass, they swallowed it, didn't think about how that might affect them, how the intrinsic value that a console has traditionally had since the inception of a console, one box that plays multiple games. Since that inception, exclusives has set that console's identity, sets its overall value in the marketplace. But folks try to tell them, but they didn't see it that way. And then when you add to that the incentives of not having to pay for your game, subscribing to them for them, I don't know.
It is what it is. Yeah, I didn't have it in the outline, but Sega's talking about doing a subscription service with their back catalog of games, and I just looked at that and it's like, who's going to pay for those damn games? They pull their like games off Steam.
Don't do it.
If Sega does that and tries to turn that in, they will literally they'll do a Saturn. They'll do a Saturn on themselves, and they don't even have a console on the market. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, ROMs are out there. I don't think anyone's going to pay for it.
No.
Well, speaking of Katakawa and From Software, we had a little bit more details on Elden Ring Night Rain on here. And one thing I was kind of found interesting on this is that the game is multiplayer, but it's basically either going to be a 3-player co-op game or a single-player game. There's no ability to be able to play it 2-player for some reason. So the game, according to the game's director, Junya Ishizaki, he said that the game is designed to be played as a 3-person team, but you could play it as a solo player. When asked by IGN if the game could be played by 2 players, he responded saying, no, it's either going to be 1 player or 3-player. So they confirmed that the enemy health pool will also scale depending on whether the game is being played single player or as a trio. And what he had a quote said, the reason that we went with a 3-player focus is that we wanted retain that sense of accomplishment you get from battling a boss together or from conquering a map together, and that sense of enjoyment. But we wanted to recreate that in a fresh way. Fresh. And we felt like focusing on a 3-player co-op experience would provide a brand new sense of accomplishment with it. So I was taking a look at a little bit more at this title, and what they're doing a lot with it is that they're reusing some bosses like from the Dark Souls series in this game too.
Okay.
So it's like kind of their
greatest hits
multiplayer. It's like almost like as soon as I heard that, it kind of reminded me of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. That like kind of greatest hits Monster Hunter game that had like characters and bosses and monsters from different titles in the series. So
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So kind of seems like that, if you're a big From Software fan, and this might be something up your alley. But I kind of felt the lack of 2-player co-op is just kind of.
Well, it's 3-player co-op.
Yeah, 3-player co-op or single player, but
I mean, I think it could be fun. Like, it's not that I don't like games like this. It's just like they don't really, like, I don't want to be tested like that in games. So the fact that we can play this with like 3 players actually kind of made me excited for one of these Soul-like games. Like, there's very few Souls-likes that I can play that I really feel like, okay. Because like sometimes I just don't want to beat my head against the wall like that. But having a 3-player game in a Souls-like type of game, I don't know, sounds fun to me. So, I mean, if y'all want to pick it up and play it, I probably will. Like, again, when I heard it was 3-player in Elden Ring, I was like, maybe I'll pick it up and actually play it. So,
I'm gonna do it myself. I'll at least check out the network test that's gonna be held in February. I think one of the games I'm gonna try to go play in 2025 is going to be Demon Souls. So the first game that Blue Point remastered for PS5. I'm definitely taking a look at that. There was a PS5 Pro patch for that, and I want to get into Souls. So I think that's probably
that could be fun.
Go back to the OG, the first game that kind of brought the formula up, and kind of go from there. So. Kev, any interest in Elden Ring Night Rain, or is this something where you're going to keep an eye on and see how it goes?
I'll probably keep an eye on and see how it goes. Just the fact that you can either only play solo or with 3 people just seems very odd to me. I really just don't understand why you can't. What's the difference between 3 and 2? If you can adjust the difficulty based on the number of players that are in your session. It just seems very odd.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Imagine if you have like maybe a brother and 2 brothers that want to play online together or something like that, or if me and Des want to play, but we're looking for a third, it's like.
Yeah, I mean, schedules and whatnot. It seems like the older I get, the less time I have to play, and the less often it matches with the people's on my friends list. So you're just making it harder for people to play together outside of the rando realm. That just seems very odd to me.
All right. What's not odd is our release dates and announcements section of the news. So basically, first game that got a confirmed 2025 release date is going to be the long-awaited Lost Soul Aside. So there was a pretty much a kind of get-together for the China Hero Project on here. They had a kind of, I wouldn't say a convention, but they had basically press and whatnot available, and they unveiled the latest trailer for Lost Soul Aside. So it is going to be launching for PS5 and PC via Steam in 2025 on there. So it's going to be published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. It's being developed by U2Zero Games on there. So I know this game's been eagerly long awaited. A very stylish single action adventure RPG on there. I know you're supposed to be rescuing your sister, I believe, on there, and crazy creatures and a lot of fast, dynamic combat on there. Kev, did you get a chance to check out the gameplay trailer for Lost Soulside, the new one?
I have not checked out the new one. I didn't know that an updated trailer had been released, so I'll have to look into that. I did play it at one of the PlayStation. What is one of the last? It might have been the last or the second to last PlayStation Experience convention that we attended, and I loved the game. The game looked like it was close to being ready back then, so I can only imagine what this guy's added to it, because I think this started as a single person operation. One guy putting all this stuff together, so it doesn't surprise me that it's taking this long for just not even a release date, a release year to be announced. So
yeah,
I don't really I don't have no pushback on that, because it was one guy.
Yeah, I know from looking at the studio Ultra Zero Games. It's a Chinese game developer. It was founded by Chinese developer Yang Bing in 2017. And as of November 2022, it includes 40 employees. So only 40 employees are working on this. So
Yeah, so I have no issues with the length of time it's taken for this to come to market. None whatsoever.
got it. All right, and other games too that got announced this past week. Falcom announced a few games. So it was revealed at one of the Nintendo Directs that they were doing a new Trails in the Sky for basically a reboot of the series. And so Trails in the Sky First Chapter is going to be launching in fall 2025 for PS5, Switch, and PC. So they finally unveiled the trailer from the particular title. They announced PS5 and PC ports as well on there, because originally it was just on the Nintendo Direct on there. And I kind of watched the trailer because this is the game I've been playing off and on my Steam Deck for the last year and a half, 2 years. So I'm very familiar with some of the characters, at least in the trailer, and the game just looks like night and day difference between the original on there. The original was originally on PC and then the PSP, if you remember back in the day. But Falcom's working with Gung Ho Entertainment this time versus they usually been working with NIS America pretty much exclusively for the last few years with their English releases of their titles on here. But yeah, this game looks banger. It looks very just old school Grandia type of PS2 / Saturn / Nintendo GameCube JRPG. So looks
fun.
From what I saw in comparison with the original, that they kind of really have tweaked the game a bit. There's a lot more action elements, it seems like, to the game as well. So we'll have to see how it plays on here. But it's night and day difference from the original. I could tell you that right now. And I've been enjoying the original off and on. So,
well, I'm looking forward to playing it, because I've really wanted to try to get into the series, and the series is just so huge that I would find I don't know, like that's why I'm kind of like wanting some place to start and get into it. So if this game is going to allow me to do that, then I am super excited for it.
Yeah, and originally this particular Trails in the Sky had 3 different titles on there. I know from following the first game that it was like a translation that took a few years once they announced that they're going to release it in English for the PSP, because the amount of text involved as far as the actual translation from Japanese to English was massive on there. So Falcom kind of tend to go crazy with a lot of their text, and as far as descriptions and items, that kind of thing, and backstory and whatnot. And so, the translation probably is already in place because of the fact that it's already been translated into English. So it's probably made this an easier proposition. But that's probably the reason why they're going with Gung Ho this time, because Gung Ho is basically the parent of company of Xseed So, and Exceed was the one that originally brought out the first English version of Trails on there. So definitely look forward to that. And then also too, Falcom announced this past week that they are releasing a upgraded version of Ys 10 Nordics on here. So kind of a little crazy because a lot of English fans and people in the West that follow this game, the game barely came out in the West like back in November. And lo and behold, there is a new version of the game that's announced for Japan that's going to be released in 2025. So it's going to have a quote-unquote significantly upgraded version of the game, including a new story, new settings for adventure, and numerous new elements. So they talked about that, I don't know if, like Kev, I know you're thinking about buying it for Black Friday. Ys 10 on there. Is it the point that you might slow your roll because you know that there's a better version of the game in the being worked on right now?
Yeah, I probably would. I wasn't in love with Ys Nordics. I thought the combat was a bit janky, but I thought it was fun enough. The story was intriguing enough. The characters were interesting enough that it was worth a playthrough. I just didn't want to pay full price for it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And I didn't feel it warranted a full price purchase. But it's just weird. It just seems like this game, I don't know when it launched in Asian territories, if there was a significant time difference between the Western regions, and so that makes sense. That might make sense with regard to when the game launched for Asian territories, but it still seems to me very soon to come out with the greatest hits already. But if it's going to be a substantial upgrade to the combat, I would like to think maybe some more interesting story elements added to it. It could be worth the wait. So it's not like I have a shortage of RPGs to play.
That's true.
Actually, I only use 10 Nordics, and so I could definitely try to play it and maybe just take a look. I mean, I'm not going to go try to sell it or do anything just because this new version came out. There was a gap of over a year between the Japanese release. The Japanese version of Ys 10 Nordics came out in late September 2023, and of course, the port for Western territories just was released in October 2024. So they took over a year to translate this and release it into English on there. So
yeah. So I guess then that's fair. We just came to the party late.
Yep.
But hopefully they tune up that combat just a little bit. It's not bad. It's just a little bit more janky because again, man, the bar, well, really the bar is the Final Fantasy remake games. But if you want to take a hair's breadth step below that, it's Grand Blue. And this game, I couldn't help but compare it to the level of combat in Grand Blue, and it just didn't come close. And that's the biggest reason why I didn't feel it warranted a full price purchase. And folks are going to say, well, they're two different games made by two different companies, two different developers, but bro, Grand Blue is the standard bearer for all future non-Final Fantasy action JRPGs that will be judged in my book. So it is what it is.
Got it. All right, and that is the Jabroni Gaming News for the end of this beautiful episode.
All right. Game night every Thursday takes place every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. That is the day and time that we set aside to play games with our growing Discord community. So if there is a game that you would like to play with us or members of the community, all you have to do is just post that game in our game night section on our Discord server. And you're asking, well, how do I join Discord? Well, that's easy too. All you do is head on over to the app formerly known as Twitter, currently known as X,
X.
or Blue Sky, and
Yes.
go over to at Gaming Vessels, GAMINGVESSELS. Tap the link in the bio and you're in. We have no merch to hawk to you, and we have no Patreon tier list that you must pay for to join. All we ask is that you be a decent human being, likes talking about games, playing games with folks. And I think if you meet that minimum criteria, you'll find a happy home aboard the good ship Gaming Vessel. So big participated in this episode's Vessel Line. Thank you, Will D, Goonie, and John BT, members of our Discord family. We appreciate the input that you provided for this episode. And as always, it just gives us a little bit more meat to chew on, to chew off the bone for each episode. When we love our listener and Discord member interactions, it just makes each episode just a little bit more fruitful. So big thank yous for you three folks who participated. And folks, that is going to bring episode 268 to a close. We want to thank you for hanging out, cooling out, chilling out, without a doubt, with us. And I also want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. For all intents and purposes, this really could be the last episode for 2024. We might have another one just before the new year. I don't know. We'll we'll keep y'all posted.
Yeah.
But just in case we don't, we want to make sure that we tell our listeners, wish them a happy holidays, and however you partake. We just hope and pray that it is with family and friends, and you don't get drunk and cause a problem. No drinking and driving, because
All right, Cap. Thank
Yes.
you. I don't need a reminder.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm not gonna...
Don't know, no drinking and driving from you, sir, because I see the aftermath of a lot of that, and it's not cool at all, particularly when people are hurt or killed, because I have had to deal with that, and that's not fun either. So be smart and enjoy yourselves. So for Dez, aka the Bay Area Terror, aka the High Res Hater,
That's me.
aka the Cat Daddy, aka that Gamer Stepdaddy, and for Trader Joe, aka Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
But you probably also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. I am Shonuff71, aka Digadulamite.
That purple bling bling, y'all. Maybe we'll retire this, y'all.
We're saying we'll
Never
be
to
back
die.
next time. Episode 269 for your ears. Peace. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Ho, ho, ho.